Hello artists, today I thought we could do a sketch of a bird, and we might do that with a few different techniques that we've learned about in our drawings. So let's start with plain white paper. I'm using a pencil, and I'll probably come in with some pen too, I think, but for the sketch I'm going to use pencil. So very simple bird with a little rounded head here. Don't worry if yours is not the same as mine. This is sort of a fantasy bird, so I'm not telling you what kind of bird this is. It might be a little baby bird, actually, crying for some dinner. All right? But I'm not going to tell you what kind it is because I don't want us to be worried about making it perfect, right? Let's see. So, we don't need that. Cleaning up a little bit as I go. I usually wait till the end to clean it up. Little belly here. And we're just kind of making this up. So, so if your bird is bigger or rounder or it's shaped differently than mine, that is perfectly fine. I'm going to put a ring around the eye like that. And that'll help us remember we want to have kind of a cool shape there. And let's come down with the body. Again, yours can be thicker or thinner. It can be rounder. It can be different than mine. So just let it be. Don't be stressed out that yours isn't the same. Let's just let them be what they are. Fantasy birds. Okay. And let's see, a little curving back here, and then a tail. Something like that. Okay. And then let's put a little wing here, like that. Something like that. All right. So, let's see, let's bring this up this way. And we're going to bring in a twig. See how I'm putting in the twig after I put in the feet. That way, wherever the twig ends up is just fine. All right, and an organic twig. Like that. Did you hear my cat sneeze in the background? Yeah, he's been sneezing a lot the last couple of days. He might need a little trip to the veterinarian, see what's going on. Okay, and let's bring in a twig that heads up this way, like that. And again, just do whatever, don't stress. We're just making kind of organic. See how this is pretty straight? Wiggle it a little bit, make it more organic. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's that for the bird. His mouth is open, so we have the outside, and here's the inside. So let's put some shadow to the inside, like that. And let's shade the eye. But when we shade the eye, hopefully I'm in focus here. Pretty good. When I shade the eye, I'm going to make it dark, but I'm going to protect a little sparkle of light in there. Do you see that? I kind of put a little highlight. Now I'm going to come in and shade that. Okay, there we go. And then let's put in some feathers. And that first line that I drew, that center, that's the eye itself. And then this is kind of a ring around the eye. We're going to go with feathers like that. And you see how I'm kind of going radially. I'm radiating like the sun, the rays of the sun. So I'm pulling some feathers out and around like that. And when I get up to the face here, let's see, I'm going to strengthen that line for the beak. And go like that. Leave some light at the top of the beak. And a little bit of light at the top of the feathers, like that. There we go. You see how my lines that I'm creating now, my shading in, is starting to hide that first drawing. There we go. And feathers. He's kind of furry, right? He's a little baby bird, so his feathers are not quite developed yet. It's a little kind of chunky there. He must be having a good spring with lots of good food. All right, and let's make some stronger feather separations. And again, this is fantasy. If I was doing a real bird, boy, there would be a lot more complexity to these feathers. I would be looking at some really careful details. But because we're making this bird up a little bit, we're just sort of realistic, air quotes realistic, right? Just in terms of how we're shading him in. There we go. And this feathers, this wing here is shading the body. let's put a shadow underneath the wing. There we go. We're sort of hatching, right? If you did my video about hatching and cross-hatching, then you might recognize some of these marks. And let's see, between the leg, it's kind of a dent in for the belly. There we go, like that. And maybe little kind of V shapes to suggest feathers. So just put some of those in. Fantasy bird, remember? So we're not really worried about it looking like an exact thing. I don't know if this is a sparrow or a cowbird, or I don't know, right? Let's not worry about it. Okay, and then let's have some separations here in these feathers, and this should be in shadow. But let's have some darker bits. See how we're going light, medium, and dark? We need some darkness, like that. Okay, and see how I let a line cross the twig? Let's clean that out, because the tail should look like it's behind. All right, now let's do some texture-y marks on the underside of the branch. You see I'm changing the mark making, because I want it to sort of look like wood bark, right? And give it kind of a barky effect. And the light is above, so the shadow is underneath. Maybe this is a little craggy right here. And along the sides here, break that up. Let some areas be lighter and some areas be darker, like that. And across to the other side, same effect. We'll keep the little bit of shadow cast from the bird here, but let's let the middle kind of show a little light. There we go. Complex edges. Let's make this side a little shady. And the branch will just kind of end there, right? Like he's sitting near the end. There we go. Shade on the bottom. Like that. Okay, and then if there's anything that's straying out that you think needs to be cleaned up, excuse me, you can just carve in with your eraser, clean up any fuzzy bits that seem to distract, like that, like that. And maybe I'll slim him down a little. I think I made him a little too round in the belly. There we go. I can use a texture mark to clean that up. And there you go. A little shade and shadow. Now if you have an even darker pencil, or if you want to pop some darks, you might find, let's see, a little tiny bit. Don't overdo it. Oh, I'm overdoing it. Here comes pen. If you want to pop the darkness with a pen, now you could stop right at the pencil, or if you're fancy and you have those pencils that come in a lot of different darknesses, you could switch to a darker pencil. But just gently coming in with a little bit of shadow here to define the beak. That opening in his mouth right there, right? The eye is a little darker, and maybe some gentle little bits of feathering here and here to help pop the darkness. These little feeties. There we go. So this is an extra step if you want to take it, to bring in some dark. Pop the darks here under the wings. And a little darkness here. So I'm looking for the very darkest darknesses. And there we go. Once you start with the pen, you got to keep going, don't you? Do you see that? It's a commitment. There we go. There. You can tell how much darker this pen is from the pencil. And they do look lovely together. I think they're really interesting. And a little bit of darkness under here. Right, a couple little darker textures. Remember, follow the radiating lines around the face. around the eye. Don't put an outline around him, so just some textury bits, like that. So we're just putting little bits and marks. Shadow here, some hatching, like that. You can see I'm really starting to transform this now into more of a pen drawing, right? And I can bounce back to the pencil and use more pressure to help me transition between, gonna lighten that up a little bit, transition between the graphite and the pen. This is graphite, by the way, pencil, like that. So I can strengthen my mediums with the pencil by pushing a little bit harder. And there you go. All right, artists, I hope you have a great week, and I hope you enjoy this drawing. It's a lot of fun. Just pick any picture of a bird and make up your version of it. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you soon. Bye.